The focus of our presentation is ENOVIA V6 Program Management. IDEX Solutions is dedicated to bringing the latest engineering and manufacturing tools and processes, as well as engineering services to our customers, enabling them to be leaders in their industries. Today, along with our partner Connect Press, we'd like to introduce to you the value of ENOVIA Program Management. Program Management provides organizations with an accurate, real-time information system to help keep projects on track and respond to ever-shrinking project life cycles. Through the project pipeline and dashboards, ENOVIA Program Central provides management with real-time visibility into a project status in terms of overall schedule, phases, gates, resources, costs, and benefits. Ultimately, ENOVIA Program Management enables organizations to make better decisions when evaluating and analyzing a project's return on investment. Today, our presenter is Michael Wong. Michael is a senior PLM application engineer with IDEX Solutions. Prior to joining IDEX, Mike spent 10 years at Dassault Systems, where he focused primarily on the ENOVIA line of products. With no further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Mike.
Thanks, Devon, for that introduction. So we are here talking about program management, and just real briefly, I will cover a little bit about IDEX Solutions. Oh, actually, you already did, didn't you, Devon? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I could cover that. I could cover that. So just a little bit about IDEX. We were formed in 1996. We provide a number of services around Dassault system products, supporting pretty much the small to medium business space, as well as a few of the tiered suppliers in both the automotive and aerospace supply chains. We have acumen for the PLM solutions, including ENOVIA, CATIA, Delmia, as well as 3D VIA. Some of our projects include implementation services, customizations. We also do a wide variety of automation and customer training, and we have a large pool of engineering resources that are available for process consulting as well as on-site staff augmentation. Next slide, Mike.
All righty. That was the end of that one.
Sure.
All right. So I guess we'll get into it now. I'm going to divide the presentation into two parts. The first will be a brief sort of slideware of what program management is and what I'm trying to cover, and then I'll go into a live product demonstration after that. So I don't know, is everyone on mute, Sean, or can people ask questions I'm sorry, Nick, as they see fit?
I have everybody muted right now. If anybody has any questions, they can PM me, or we can wait till the end.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go through this, and please cue your questions, and I'll try to get to them at the end of the presentation. All right. So you've had some time to stare at the slide and read through it, and basically this is why we think program management is a necessary product within the ENOVIA line, and why we think every customer should have this. With respect to program, if we look at it from the beginning, I mean, if you look at what a program is basically, you've got maybe a new initiative for a product coming out, or maybe you want to modify an existing product for a new market space, and so you're basically going to start a new program. So this could be, for instance, when Chevrolet developed the new Camaro, that's a new program. All the way down to if Garmin decides to make a new model of a GPS, that could be a new program. So there's a lot of applications where program management would be a good fit. So the idea here is that with program management, you can manage all aspects of the program, such as your scheduling, your work breakdown structure. You can deploy company standards as templates for things such as your design methodologies or your scheduling as far as your timesheets goes. They're all ways that you as a manufacturer may need to manage your program. So and there's a lot of pieces to program management. You don't have to use all of them, but you can pick and choose the parts that make sense within your company, and maybe deploy the other pieces down the road as they seem applicable. Okay, so program management primarily centers around an application in ENOVIA called Program Central. So that's what we're going to talk about today, which is Program Central. And if you were to sit here and divide up a typical program into a very granular level, you may start off with things like your project standards. So these might be templates that I mentioned earlier that define how your program is going to be implemented. So there could be budgeting templates, there could be scheduling templates, there could be design methodology templates. So these are all templates that are stored in program management that you can deploy to your different areas of your company so that they can make sure that they're following the company standards. Product portfolio planning. So this is the idea here within your portfolio is, if you're a car manufacturer, your portfolio may include sedans and sports coupes and minivans or whatever. But as you drill down into that, you're going to have sort of subfolders off of like, for instance, the sports cars. So you may have things like the Corvette and the Camaro, and then you can continue to drill down into there as deep as you need to develop your portfolio and also organize it. So the way that one company organizes their portfolio may be different from another person, but the idea here is that ENOVIA and program management are flexible in being able to provide that technology to your company. Resource planning. Resource planning encompasses things such as your work breakdown structures, your scheduling for your users, different ways that you can deploy the application to the end user that allows them to keep track of not only what tasks they have upcoming, what tasks are at risk of being late according to the schedule that you've created. Project execution and task and time management sort of go hand in hand. You need to obviously develop your structure as far as your project goes, and give it milestones and gates so that you know that you're hitting you're executing on your project at the timeline that you develop so that you're not late to market. And that goes along with time and task management. So being able to define those timelines and those specific tasks at those milestones so that you know that each step is hit along the way and that you don't miss any steps in the process of bringing a product to market. Financials maybe goes along with your budgeting as far as everything from sourcing to working with suppliers to making parts in-house. So all your financials may be captured here, and also to go along with strategic planning. So if you have an idea of how much you want this product to be in the market, then you can try to extrapolate that backwards and determine what your costs are and what your manufacturing costs are, and then you can determine the margin from there. So that's sort of some of what the financial program management brings. And then obviously at the end we've got phase gate management, and this really is the ability to manage your phases much along the lines of your work breakdown structure, but at a much higher level where you can take a look at that from a dashboarding perspective and make sure that each phase of the process is on target for budget, is on target for timing, is on target for costing and delivery. Okay, and we'll cover most of these things in the demo today. All right. So what I've done next is I've broken down some of these, main topics that you see in the blue boxes across the top, and sort of drill down a little bit deeper and wanted to talk about, some of the things that individual users may do within your organization specific to the program management functionality. So at the top level, you might have management that they define your business goals, review your stage gates and decisions that along the way, and take a look at your resource plans and allocation. The administrators may do something along organize your resource pools or define the project templates, and the program managers, perform your risk assessments and build your management profiles. And so what you can see is within program management here, we've sort of identified 5 main roles within an organization that may be able to take advantage of some of the functionality in program management. Now, what you'll see at the bottom is that little tagline, a single source of the truth. And what that means is these 5 different roles could be working within ENOVIA simultaneously in making sure that they are hitting the same source of data, so that they know that they're actually getting, 1, the freshest data that's available in the database, and 2, everyone's looking at the same data, so that there's no discrepancy between what the management people might see and what the project leaders might see. So the idea here is if you've got disparate systems, or maybe some of the stuff exists on spreadsheets currently, you can enter this all into program management and manage it simultaneously between the different users in your organization. So that's where the single source of the truth comes from, and it's a very powerful concept. If you are ever experienced a program where some people are on a different page relative to where they should be in the product life cycle. Okay, that's it from a slideware perspective. Now I'm going to go into the actual demo and talk about some of the pieces that we've talked about here, and actually show you how they function within ENOVIA. All right, let me close this, or actually open this. So what I've done already is I've logged in as a user in ENOVIA, and this might be my my main screen. And if you've not seen ENOVIA before, the idea here is that this is your basic view as you log in, and this may be this is completely customizable. So if there are things that you see on this screen that you don't necessarily want to see, or may surprise you, you can change that around and make it whatever you want to. But this is my view for this user that we've called Mandar, and what he is looking at here is, 1, he's looking at his workspaces. So if this is a designer that's logged in, and he says, okay, I'm working on these 5 different projects, or 6 different projects, I can quickly see what projects I'm responsible for, and what a brief description of what they do. Down here, this user has a list of tasks, and these tasks have been assigned to him by the project manager, by management, or someone, and these are specific things that he has to do, whether it's a simple thing like approve an engineering change order, or actually come in and take a look at the work breakdown structure and make some updates to the WBS. Okay. So
hey, Mike.
This is just
Mike.
Yes.
One second. I think the WebEx is either lagging behind, or you've not clicked the ENOVIA tab. I'm still just on your. Looks like you opened Google Chrome, and you're on the WebEx page, but I still don't see ENOVIA here. So maybe I'm behind. I don't know, Nick. What do you see?
I do see the ENOVIA tab.
Okay, now I see the ENOVIA tab. I didn't see it before, so my apologies. I didn't mean to interrupt there.
Okay, no worries, Tevin. if you're on dial-up, that may be part of the problem. Okay, so and hopefully everyone's caught up to this point and they can see what's going on. But I basically just talked about the landing page as a new user logs in. So where I'm going to go from here is go into the different aspects of Program Central, and I've got a few different centrals installed here, but this is where you would find your Program Central icons, and these are really where you would start your work for this aspect. Oops, let me log back in here. It timed out on me. So what this is a different view than what I just showed you a second ago. What this view is really, as opposed to before where it said my view, this is labeled as Power View. So under the Power View for this user, we have the collection of information that this user might be responsible for, whether it's a collection of drawings or of design documentation that they need to have access to immediately. They can effectively collect it together in a collection and be readily available to the user as soon as they log in. The other part of this is, on this page is any work breakdown structure tasks that they have pending. Not only so that what's nice about this section of this page is they can not only see what the task is specifically, but they can see percentage complete, the number of slip days according to the WBS, what project it's associated to, and as well as a quick little color symbol here indicating if something if it's behind by X number of days, or if it's at risk of falling behind, or if it were if it were green, say it was actually on schedule. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm going to go into my programs of program management for this specific user, and what it does is it pulls up programs that are assigned to this user, and again, you can see that there are a number of different folders here, and if I were to, in these folders, maybe go back to what we talked about before about how you can create your structure according to how your company operates. So in this case, this marine tracker, this may be an electronics company that makes depth finders for the marine industry. So you can see here that they've got a number of different programs going on, and within those programs, they've got some subfolders specific to the design methodology that they've deployed. Let's come back out here and take a look at a couple other ones. So we're going to go into Sport Tracker now, and same thing. We'll see some other folders below the main Sport Tracker initiative, and these may be documents that the user has access to. In this case, they're actually within the Sport Tracker, which must be a product line, right? We have specific products below. So we've got this Interometer, we've got Sport Tracker base and a Camel version. So you can see how this company has laid it out by product line and then specific products below there. So what we've done now from the top level of the program management interface, we've drilled into our next level, which is giving us really a snapshot, a dashboard, if you will, of these specific product lines and where they are in their cycle. So you can see here that we've got current phase, number of slip days according to the work breakdown structure, cost ratio, total cost, and any other of these really objects that are in the database or variables that are in the database that are captured in program management and then are quickly displayed on this dashboard. so that you can get a good idea of where these programs are in their cycle. Okay, so clearly we've got more data around this Andromeda than we do for the other products. So you can see we've got a total cost here, and this is actually a roll-up of costs that have been assigned to various components at a more granular level. So program management has the ability to roll up not only your cost but your benefit as well, so you can see what your margins are or what they could be depending on how you price out the objects. Okay, under metrics, this is a graphical dashboard, and this depends on how what data you already have in your system. Right now, the metric dashboard is out of the box, so some of this information I already have access to. I've already entered into the system, and some of it I don't have the data entered yet. But you can see what this does for you as maybe a management user or the program or project manager is that I can get a really quick snapshot of different aspects of the project. So I can see where it is from a top level, what's on schedule, what's late, or what's not completed. I can also, not only do I have a bar chart, I've got a pie chart here. I can see a financial benefits chart as well. And then, out of the box, I've got a financial cost chart and a risk waterfall chart that I could use. But the idea here is that I could customize this metric results page to display whatever I need to quickly get an understanding of where my project is in its cycle. And I can see who the project owner is. So a lot of these columns across the top, I can add or subtract simply by going into the table view, and I can see all this other data that's available in the database that I can add to the view here, or again take away if there's other information that's more important to me than what I see here. Okay. So I've got different things. If I want to take a look at specifically the tasks or schedules, again, these things I would just drag and drop this from the available columns into the visible columns, and that way I could take a look at it. Okay, so let's drill into the Andromeda Marine. And the first thing that pops up, you'll notice, is on the left nav, I've got the product line, or the product line here, I'm sorry, the product here, but then I've got folders underneath it that denote specific documents about this product. And these include things like business plan documentation. So, what was the initiative, where did this initiative come from for building this Andromeda Marine GPS, what's the cost justification? So I can store all this information right here in program management, and then easily be able to access this from anywhere within the enterprise. So if management needs to take a look at it, if anything down to the project management needs to look at it, he can quickly access this information because he has access to it. And again, it's coming from this single source of the truth, which is the database. But notice what else I have in here. I have things like manufacturing documents, marketing requirement documents, all this other stuff. It's vital to every program to be able to have this documentation, not only from purposes of coming back and taking a look at who made what decision when, but then also from the perspective of if you're in a situation where you need to have some compliance, you can store the documents here and know that you can get to them quickly if there's a compliance document for, say the FAA or the governing body for dental hardware. All right. So we can see that I've got all these different documentations here, and these are folders that were built by this company. So you don't necessarily have to adhere to these folders. You can change the names. You can do whatever you need to do to make logical sense within your organization. So right here, what we see on the left is a graphical display of really what the work breakdown structure is. So so what they've done is they've taken the work breakdown structure and assigned gates to specific points in the schedule that make logical sense as far as where you would have a hard stop. So we have a concept phase, we have a business analysis phase, and then we have initial development, final development, and product launch. And again, with ENOVIA, all this information is, all of this interface is customizable. So if you don't have a business analysis phase, or if the business analysis phase is combined in the concept phase, you can just, combine those two together, and you would only have, 4 gates in your process as opposed to 5. So what's nice is anywhere that you see a hand here, a clickable link, I can click and get more information about that specific, step in the process. So I'm going to say if I step on or click on gate 2, I can drill into that specific gate, take a look at what milestones have to be achieved in order to get past that gate, and 2, have those milestones been achieved successfully? Is there anything failed along the way? Is there anything that needs my attention in order to get past that milestone? So it's a way to quickly drill in, find out what information you need about a task to make sure that your program is moving along successfully. So what I've done, since I've clicked into that gate, I can see that in order to have sign-off, I need to have, these specific tasks completed. So a business concept summary, a business opportunity worksheet. So these are basic things that you would go through, but it also lists where they occur in the work breakdown structure. So what step of this? So this is, obviously step 1, point, whatever, to get past there. What type of gate is it? Is it a task? Is it a design requirement? Is it a production requirement? You can do that. What's the current state of these? Is it completed? What percentage complete is it? Who the owner was? So again, all this information comes out of the database. That's the same database in which you have all of your design data, hopefully, and you can get into this information and quickly find out all the stuff that might be useful to different people in your program life cycle. And again, this chart is customizable. So if there's information here again that's not as relevant to you, you can take it out, and stuff that's more relevant as far as this data is concerned, you can add it into this chart to make it more useful to you. Okay. So let's come out of here and take a look at down here below this gate, this graphical gate structure. We've got a legend that basically sort of spells out the same thing for you in an actual timeline. So you can see what the different gates are, which correlate to the gates up here, and then which ones are completed, which ones are in active state, and which ones are still need to be created. So these are ways to go through and quickly understand what these gates are and where they are in their process. If we come down here under members, we can see which members of your organization are included on this program. So again, these can be everything from manufacturing through designers, and even up into management. So you can see not only who they are that are tied to your project, but you can also see what level of participation they have, if they're just a member or if they're the owner. You can also see what kind of role they have in this program. So obviously, Ted Bottomdollar is the program manager, but Mike Compliance is probably the compliance officer. You've got this SolidWorks user down here, which may be a generic login for a designer to come in and take a look at what his tasks are. Okay, and then if we were to go to these different tabs, we've got a property tab, which we'll cover later. and they've also got a metrics tab, which lists out your metrics for your specific project. In this case, we've only got one major metric, and really this is just this is the top level dashboard again, so we can take a look at the metrics. In this case, your metrics may be something along the lines of, total cost has to be under a certain value, or your business goals maybe something else. Okay, but the idea here again is you've got these tabs across the top that quickly provide access to vital information. Oh, that was not going to comply with me. So we've talked about the top level program. We've talked about the folders underneath the product here. So let's take a look at categories. And what categories are different, drilling down into the information that make up this dashboard. So if I were to look in here, I could take a look at the business goals for this specific product. So here, there are 3 business goals that may be not only part of specific to this product, but maybe are business goals for the entire company. Part of their business goals may be to expand into the Asia Pacific region or implement the Six Sigma quality protocols. So these are all business goals that may have been developed for across the company, but are applied specifically to this product as far as being able to make sure that these goals are met. Okay, if we come in here and take a look at things like the financial forecast, any information that are related to your production costs or your supplier costs can be entered here, and then you could take a look and you could roll that up into your dashboard. Looks like my server is not cooperating with me here. Let's wait a little bit longer. I may have to go to a different category. I apologize. The system doesn't seem to be cooperating. Let me go ahead and restart this. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we're talking about categories. Waiting for that page load. We'll go to a different one. Let's say you've got some issues or risks that may be wanting to bring up specific to this program. So again, before when I talked about you could have different people involved from different levels of the organization involved in this program. This may be a way that you can facilitate communication between those different individuals. Like for instance, maybe someone in the field is out beta testing one of the early prototypes, and they said, well, I've got an issue with the case that's cracking if I drop it from 6 feet up, and this has to be more rugged than that. Well, they can start an issue within ENOVIA that gets logged as a formal request, and this issue could go back. The designer or the project manager could take a look at it and say, yes, we have a problem here. And from this issue, they could create an engineering change order or an engineering change request within ENOVIA, and then and be able to document the process that started with this issue back into changes for that molding in that case to be updated for more durability. But the idea here again is that you've captured this object or this issue in the database, and that people can come in here and review it, take a look at it, comment on it, start discussions on it if they want to, and make sure that this issue gets resolved and gets tracked from start to end. Okay, and you can even take a look at all issues that may exist here. So I've got this one which is outstanding, and I've got this one which is closed. So again, you can get a good feel for what's going on. So project properties, I said we'd talk about this later, and later is now. So we'll take a look at, basically, you have here is your metadata in the database that describes everything about this project. And you can come in here if you have the right permissions. You can edit this information and make sure that this information is captured correctly, or even update it with things like the project, start date and finish date, and how many days that you might be behind. Okay. You can take a look at routes and approvals. Now, routes and approvals are two ways to not only help define your life cycle, but also keep track of what changes may be going on within the organization, and be able to track at what stage in the process, if you have an approval for a specific object or a design, you can assign members of your team to say this person needs to approve these design changes or these documents before they can go through the process. And routes are the same way, except with these you can attach documents to them. So you can come in to a route, you can create a route and say, this route is for any design changes that occur. When they occur, the design manager has to approve it, and then it has to go to the production manager, and he has to approve it before it can move to the next step in the life cycle. So even within routes and approvals, you have a life cycle to help determine, to make sure that the documentation has been established and it's following its process. Okay, so let's take a look next at specifically drilling into the work breakdown structure and really understanding what's going on at that step. So within the program management, we have this work breakdown structure where we have a high level view of what your different steps are, like such as the concept and business analysis. And what you'll notice is that these steps, or these gates, correlate to the graphical interface that we saw earlier, where we saw the gates and the milestones there. So if we were to drill into these specific milestones, you would see those individual tasks that have to be completed before they can move to the next step in the WBS. So here, as I drill down, I can see, there's that 1.1, which was the metrics and the sign, and the 1.2, which is the sign-off. So you can see not only what stage they are in the WBS. You can see, has it been completed? Is it even active at this point? Is it behind schedule? And what percentage it is, and who the owner is. So again, this is a way to come in and really manage your program from a top level, and make sure that you have your timelines in place and your gates established, so that you can you can make sure that you are on time on your go to market. All right. So we come back out to categories. I go to up here. Waiting for this to finish up here. All right, so the last thing I wanted to show you within program management is the dashboards. We talked a little bit about before with the metrics dashboard, but what's nice here again is, because this interface is completely customizable, is that you can come in and see these changes. Actually, okay, so this is the dashboard. But one thing I didn't get a chance to talk about were these little icons down here at each gate within the overall dashboard. And if you look at each gate, you can create a meeting such that if there needs to be a formal review between different individuals at each stage in a gate, you can create a meeting and have these individuals attend the meeting much like you would in Outlook, but then you can have your topic and your description so they understand what the purpose is without ever having to necessarily leave ENOVIA, and they can get updates from the built-in notification engine within ENOVIA that would send a pop-up to them saying, hey, you've got this meeting that the program manager has created that we need to review the steps for gate 1 and make sure that the Andromeda Marine GPS is on schedule. And the same thing goes for a decision. So if you have made a decision here about a specific part of this, like say you said you've completed the business analysis and you said, yes, I believe that there's a good business case for developing this GPS, you can create a new one, put it in here, log it, so that you have it's been documented that that decision has been made. Same thing with deliverables. So if there's a deliverable attached to this gate, such as maybe a set of CAD drawings, you can create that deliverable. It might be something as simple as a Word document saying that this is the business justification for this. You can attach that directly to that gate within the schedule. And then a checklist is exactly that. So you can create a checklist that makes sure that you've basically checked off all of your objects at that stage in the gate and make sure that you're approved to move on to the next stage. Okay. Next thing I wanted to talk about real quick. Let's come back out to our main interface. And where is it? Talk about the timesheets. So from an end user, which you're able, the program management gives you the ability to track your timesheets electronically within ENOVIA, so that you can say, I've put in 4 hours on the Andromeda GPS, and I put in another 3 hours on the ST 7000. So the idea here is that not only can you assign from a management level, not only can you assign tasks and hours to a user, but then the user can log their time against that, and so they can verify that they're progressing smoothly and that they've got their systems all good to go. And that is about it for program management.